So JavaScript has four main ways you can output information to the screen. In the last video, I showed you guys how to use innnerHTML function, which is part of the DOM, and it uses the document, which is the website. It searches for the ID that I implement there. It gets the variable ID and it searches through the document for it, and then it replaces whatever is inside that specific area. For example, if it's a header one or if it's a paragraph, it takes it and it replaces it. And I showed you guys how to use onClick to activate a function here. Um, don't worry about functions. We're going to learn more about it. Right now, I'm just helping you guys understand the concept of how to display information on the screen. And we're going to go over functions later. So one of the nice things about JavaScript is that there are four different ways you could display information. There is dot inner HTML, which you guys saw it uses the ID and then it gets the inner HTML and then displays whatever you make it equal to. Now you can make this equal another function or you can make it do something else, and whenever you click it, it's going to do it in that specific area. That inner HTML. And then we have something called document.write, which will make all of the AC previous HTML disappear. So you got to be aware of that, and you got to understand that using that will most likely mean that you want to erase everything on the screen, and you got to be prepared for the next screen and make sure all your information is there so you don't have a blank screen with a value on it, which I'll show you in a bit. And then we have something called window.alert, which is a pop-up window at the top. You'll get this a lot of the times whenever you've done something wrong or whenever something doesn't add up in your forms that you're filming. You could do a dot alert pop-up and it will pop up out of the window, and the user you could have a message in there for the user, and I'll show you how that works as well. And then the last one, which we use a lot for debugging, JavaScript is sometimes interesting the way it does things, and you're going to need to use this to help yourself with debugging. It's called console.log, and this outputs to the console in the window. Now that we have that going, I showed you guys already how to deal with inner HTML. Inner HTML, you tell it the ID and it goes grabs it, and then it makes it equal to whatever uh, it assigns it to whatever you have it after the equals sign, which it's not equals, it's assigning it. So equals in programming is always doubles equals. A single equal means that's assigning it to that. So let me show you something. If I were to say, let's use document.write, and I'm going to say over here on the on the body, I'm going to use script tags, and I'm going to say that's two scripts. I'm going to say document.write, and I'm going to say let's output their 2020, which is the year that we are on. And if we save this and we open this, it outputs 2020 in there. And I could do math in there if I wanted to. So refresh that, 40. So you can make this do a lot of things, and you can make it you could even execute functions, which I'll show you later, and use it for uh, getting results for the next step of your website. So if there's a form that somebody needs to fill out, you could get their information and display information based on the uh, data that they provide about themselves. Now, using that is not I don't really recommend it. I would much rather use inner HTML. It's much more clean, and you could edit a lot more area with IDs than you can with document.write. Document.write is very out there, and it's much more work to get it to edit and look nice. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and you could also put this in on click. So let me just show you that. So if you save that and you say we're gonna refresh this, boom. See, if you use it on click, it makes everything disappear. So that's what I was saying. It's a little bit more difficult to work with, partly because it's you don't expect it to do that. And then the next part we're gonna say is we're gonna use the alert the alert function. I'm gonna say, hey there. And when we save this and we refresh the page, which it doesn't want to refresh. Jeez, come on. Work with me. Uh, what did I miss here? Window. Oh, sorry. This is not. It's window dot alert. Whenever, let's save this. Why is it not letting me do that? I might miss something. Uh, is it single quotations? Yeah, single quotation. That's a simple mistake. Single quotations, whenever you're doing it inside here, if you do double quotations, you're ending the quotation right there, which can cause an error. So that's a mistake you need to watch out for, something that you need to do. And there you go. This site says, hey there. It's important to remember that if you have it inside if you have it inside this area, which let me X, let's say, let's put it there. I could use the double quotations here. I could use the double quotations inside the script tag. I cannot use the double quotation inside the HTML element. So that's something to keep in mind. You cannot use the HTML element there. Um, so I'll go ahead and show you this. Refresh this, and it says, hey there. And I put it outside the button so it automatically execute. Once it executes all the code, it gets here and it automatically says hey there. So that's something you need to keep in mind. Use double quotations inside the script, but whenever you're inside the HTML element, because it's HTML and it's a big part about that double quotations, you need to use the single quotations and you'll be all right. And last but not least, we're going to say the console logging system that there is that the uh, JavaScript provides, and it's something that is useful when you're doing debugging. So in this case, I'm going to say console jeez dot log, and it logs whatever I want it to log in there. So if I want to output a an ID, or if I want to output, something from the database that I want to make sure that a variable is the variable that I think it is. So if I'm having some code here and I'm getting the wrong output, I could say, okay, console log over here before variable x. I want to see where variable x is, and then, oh, okay. I want to see what variable x is at this point, what variable x is at this point, and what variable x is at this point, and you can kind of see where your errors are. So in this case, I'm going to show you, I'm going to save it. I'm going to inspect element. I'm going to go to the console, and there's a few syntax errors. It's going to say, hey there. And then when I press thank you, it outputs 50. So this is a good way of seeing what errors you have in your code and how to uh, kind of debug it. JavaScript is very interesting, so sometimes you'll get a lot of weird errors that you will need to either comment out, or my favorite thing to do is to just have, okay, I need to know variable x. We're going to say, I want to know it here. I want to know it after the code. Of course, you'd put in the script tags, and I want to know it after it executes. And that will give you the variable at different points, or the function at different points with the information that it has, and you could use that to debug it.